Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Martin, and I'm here to review a roasted seaweed snack. As you can see, it kind of looks like stretched out, dried Grinch cum, but I mean, I've eaten quite a few packs of seaweed. They all look like that, and they're all equally tasty. I'm making this video upon request of a few friends and for anyone else who wishes to see it, so I guess I'll just get right into it. To start off, I guess we'll review the packaging. I mean, it's a bit, the packaging, I find it a bit frail, and it's a very loud type of packaging. Like, if you listen, it's extremely crinkly, and also another issue with it is it's kind of difficult to open, and I found myself having issues thinking perhaps the seaweed in the little plastic container inside of here is going to spill out. The advertising on it's pretty straightforward. It's not overly glamorous or trying to lie about the product. It's just the seaweed I've had looks exactly like the stuff you'll find on the packaging. It's really not that much different. Other than that, this is made in, I believe it's Japan, but I'm not sure. It's made somewhere foreign, and I had to buy it in the international aisle at the store. So, nutritionally speaking, one pack of these has 5 little sheets, and maybe 6 actually, I'm not overly sure. And it has about 30 calories, which mostly consists of fat, a little bit of salt, and like half a gram of sugar. Because these things, they have a little bit of seasoning on them. They're still not overly sweet. So I guess it's time for me to get into actually eating this. Let me struggle with opening the package. I hate this. I'll try the other side quickly. My hands are slightly sweaty due to the warm temperature I've been having recently in the region I live. I've decided to go the simple and easy route of just using scissors to cut open the package, and then that'll also mean it'll be easier to retrieve the little packet of seaweed from the bag. Alright, let's see it. Cool, so this is it. This is a little container. Here's the seaweed. It's a little bit darker than the one on the packaging, but I think that's partially because it's stacked. Because if I take one like this, then it does brighten up on my side, but the camera doesn't really pick it up that well. Compared to the packaging, yeah, it seems fairly well represented. The two. The appearance of the seaweed itself, personally, I find it kind of looks like to me when you bunch up a piece of paper, but then after that you kind of stretch it back out again, and it just has this very rumply texture, rumply look to it. The texture as well, it's fairly smooth. You can feel a few grains of salt spread across it for flavoring. You can see a few patches. Well, I can. It's difficult for you guys doing my low quality webcam, but regardless, you can see a few little patches of sesame flavoring as well. Other than that, there are a few slight holes just to just due to how thin this little snack actually is. There's not much noise to it, except for when you actually start eating it. And I guess that's probably the next thing I'm bound to do, is just eat away. So here goes the first bite. So first impressions right away is the flavor is sort of a sesame teriyaki, but it definitely also has a base, like a base flavor in sort of the salty region of flavors. It's highly dependent on some of the salt grains to give it flavoring. Although from some of the other natural flavored seaweed brands I've had, the plain taste of seaweed is also quite nice. I'll really just go for anything. The food goes down quite well, easy to swallow, and never once choked on it. It's easy to chew apart in your mouth, and you can eat it however you really want to. Although one thing I would not recommend doing, which I know a few people have done, is perhaps some people I know enjoy putting 2 pieces or even 3 together, and when you do that, I find inside your mouth the pieces then just tend to get a little bit wet, and then it becomes a little bit more difficult to chew as it goes back to a more... It sort of becomes thicker if you put 2 together, which is entirely the point, but I think that kind of ruins part of the feeling of eating a food like this. And I'll also just get the sound, go up close to my microphone. So, kind of the sound of... It's sort of like a less noisy sound than eating chips. That's the only real comparison. Just because it has because of how thin it is, has a very crunchy texture to it. So, of course, there's going to be some crunch, and the sound is exactly like eating potato chips. It's just a lower volume. Anyways, I think that about sums it up for the review of the TNT Seaweed. TNT roasted seaweed snack. So I hope you all have a good day. Goodbye.